for Saarland University is currently rank 2 for computer science
Wow.
and rank 3 for data science in AI. German education system make it very clear for you what you need to do before you take a particular course. So they, for example, let you know what are the prerequisites you need to learn and what is the materials that you can learn from so that you can catch up in the course later on. In my university, there was something called a buddy program, and I think all the universities have this. Most of the universities have this. So yeah, if you have a buddy, the program motive is very simple, that you have a senior or a person who is already studying in the university. He helps you get along the city or get along the whole master's lifestyle and so on. So I could get a lot of help from these buddies. The master program name itself is DSAI. It's Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. So the university provides a lot of different topics, like starting from computer vision, AI, NLP, and generative AI, and so on. But it's open to student on which domain does he want to move into. So it's completely the student's choice. And in my case, it was a public university, so I didn't have to pay any semester fee. But there is a negligible fee that you would have to pay. That's around €200. That comes to around 16,000 rupees in Indian rupees. Yeah, and it's a small negligible amount because you also get your public transport free with this. So with the semester ticket, when you keep your domain wide, let's say you do computer science in your bachelor's degree, it's easy to then make a specialization and then decide what domain do you want to get into. But if you make your domain too niche in your UG program itself, then it's quite hard to get into the job market and all of these. So it's always better to keep your domain wide and open. So I joined as a RA at DFKI, like I mentioned. I did my thesis there, and I've been working there with the same prof because he wanted me to, and I've also been getting a lot of publications and everything from him. So I literally have no experience. So this RA positions actually helped me a lot because they help me add things on my resume and build my resume. So it's much better to enter in industry. Google my name, you could find my research papers and my thesis available online. So I basically built FitSite. It's a application where we basically provide real-time feedback to users performing any gym exercises. So let's say you're performing a gym exercise using a computer vision approach like YOLO V7. We basically tell you we have a performance bar from 0 to 100. So we basically tell them how right is your posture at this point of time. And if you do something wrong for a bicep curl, if you haven't pulled your arms properly, then we would give a feedback telling pull your arms closer to the body. So that was, we basically developed an application that classifies 16 different exercises. Yeah, this was my idea. Cologne University of Sports Science, and they have a Olympic training center, and they were a client for our research institute, and they wanted like a POC to do this for their Olympic training center. And yeah, my thesis was part of the concept.
Super. Hello, everybody. Welcome, all of you. My name is Shivaraman, Director of Europe Study Center. So today it's a very interesting topic, or I could say even the most trending topic nowadays among youngsters. So we are going to interview our student, Hitesh, who studied in Germany and currently working in Germany. So Hitesh, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you. Thanks for your time to make this interview. Hitesh, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Hitesh Kote. I did my bachelor's degree from CMI University in computer science. And after that, I decided to pursue my master's degree from Saarland University in data science and artificial intelligence. And currently, I'm working at DFKI GmbH. It's a German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence. So I work as a research assistant there right now.
Excellent. Amazing. A short introduction, but a very successful journey. Excellent. Before we talk several things, first question that I wanted to ask you. I always have been telling people, choose bachelor's in computer science. Don't choose bachelor's in data science or artificial intelligence at UG level. Do these as specializations or, or at your PG level. Do you agree with this particular point?
Yeah, I totally agree because it's always quite better to always keep your domain wide. So when you keep your domain wide, let's say you do computer science in your bachelor's degree, it's easy to then make a specialization and then decide what domain do you want to get into. But if you make your domain too niche in your UG program itself, then it's quite hard to get into the job market and all of these. So it's always better to keep your domain wide and open.
Exactly. And I always say the same point, you keep it wider. It's like even for people to easier understanding, compared to choosing aeronautical at UG level, it's good to choose mechanical at UG level, then go to aeronautical. So this clarity I want people to know, because nowadays people are madly joining artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics, machine learning, cyber security at UG level. This is where the problem starts. Wonderful. So after your bachelor's, at what time Hitesh decided, I think I have to do my master's? I think you're from which city? Bangalore, is it? Bangalore.
Yeah, I'm from Bangalore. Yes.
Bangalore. So, literally the Silicon Valley of India, everybody taking up their IT jobs. What made Hitesh think, I think I need to take one more step further?
Yeah, so basically when I was at the end of my bachelor's degree, probably at my third year or fourth year, so I decided, okay, now I need to do something after my bachelor's, probably just work or also pursue my master's degree. But then initially I didn't have a plan of doing my master's degree. So I started giving my campus interview and so on. And I was successful with a company called CISA. But then the salary was not up to my expectation. So then I decided, no, this is not what I want to do. I want my growth to be faster with a better pace. And then I decided that I would pursue my master's degree so that it could help me grow faster. And yeah, that's how I decided. And I also started applying at my fourth year of maybe mid of my fourth year, basically. Yeah, that's when I applied. And yeah, I was kind of successful there.
Kind of blessing in disguise, a company paying you less. That made you to, but I feel if the financials and families can support a child's master degree, and the child is also interested to study, irrespective of whether they are, placed or not placed, I feel the one degree, especially from a top public university in Europe, I feel in current competitive world, it's essential.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. You're next question. Right. Yeah. Next question will be, Hitesh. You would have had plenty of options. Your own classmates would have applied for UK, Ireland, Australia, Canada, and spending 70 lakhs, 80 lakhs. And now, if at all they are employed like you, they will be paying their education loan. If they are not employed, that's a different story, which we don't have to talk here.
Yeah.
How did you make this beautiful decision of choosing Europe as your study destination?
Yeah. So frankly, I just had two simple things in my mind. Something that you get easier is not always better. And something that you always struggle to get into is something that is too better. And I also had my uncle living in Germany, and then he told me about how the German education system is and so on. And he told me how it is different from our Indian education system and all of these. So that made me that was my motivation to basically apply and pursue a degree here.
Excellent, man. Amazing, amazing. When you said something that you get easily doesn't worth it. And I saw an Instagram ad last week.
Yes.
You want to study in UK? Contact us. We will get you offer letter in 24 hours, my dear friends, so that you can suffer for the next 24 years. That is the concept.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Hitesh, I can proudly tell you, I'm the only person who has not sent a single soul to all these UK or Ireland. Never.
Exactly. I've also known about ESC a lot and how they only apply for Germany, and that's another reason that I also joined ESC, because I've also been to a couple of consultancies, and I've heard a lot of these things. But ESC was only focusing on Germany, and that was my main focus as well, and hence I was here.
Not only Germany, we focus on all European countries.
And European countries in general. Yeah.
Exactly. And I follow the mantra of spending less and learning more.
Learning more, exactly. And that's what you get from Europe.
Yes, that is what Europe is all about. But unfortunately, other than me, 99% of them, they will not promote Europe. Okay, we will put this aside.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's a different topic. So what did you choose in your master's?
I chose data science in AI because during my bachelor's degree, I did my bachelor thesis in a face recognition project, which was related to AI. So I then was fond upon this concept, and I wanted to enter this niche domain a bit. And Saarland University was providing this course here, and then I decided to pursue the same here.
Super. Excellent. Once you got the information that you are admitted in Saarland, after all the humongous documentation works which you did, and you got selected, how happy you were, man?
Frankly, I was calm after everything happened because yeah, the documentation process was too much. So I was
Yes,
kind of yeah, it was quite hectic, but it's not something that is impossible or something. Yeah.
nothing.
So after that, I was quite happy because yeah, knowing the whole process and the admission rates and all of this, yeah, once I got it, I was very happy.
Super fantastic. That too
Yeah.
in Saarland. That
Yes.
too
Yeah.
when the education is free, amazing.
Yes.
And we also
Exactly.
take a lot of pride in, clarifying your doubts regarding free education and
Yeah.
motivating kids to study in places where looting people's money is not the focus. For
Yeah.
example, a guy selling his ancestral properties and going abroad, spending 80 lakhs and working in a KFC or a McDonald's, even after
Is
16 years of, in
yeah.
this particular
That's
domain, Hitesh, you use some
yes.
AI or data science to figure out this puzzle.
Yeah, exactly. That's there. That's what we learn. But yeah,
That's what
it's
people are
that's
doing. Many of your friends would are also doing the same.
exactly. I also have a couple of friends who've been to US or UK, and yeah, I don't want to yeah comment on it or something, but it depends on the course and the university they're applying to, or also the country and what the country gives you and what you get from the country. But yeah, in Europe, it's a whole different life.
Yeah.
You will probably also enjoy when you work a bit. Yeah.
Brother,
So
you said, it's their choice. I completely agree. Their life, their
yes,
choice, their time, their money. But look at the
exactly.
current geopolitical situation. You don't know
Yes.
what's going to
Yeah.
happen tomorrow. And you see what
Yeah.
is happening in the US. Okay. You
Exactly.
studied in a
Exactly.
top
The
university in the US. Okay.
yeah.
You have
Yeah.
spent 60, 70 lakhs minimum.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look at the current situation. Where
Yeah.
are you going
And
to go and search for the 70 lakhs?
yeah, I think probably Trump's gonna get much more
Exactly.
tariffs on
Things
this.
That's
Yeah.
what, nobody can predict what's going to happen tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
follow and only tell my students the same mantra we told you: spend
Yeah.
less, learn more, be
More.
smart. For the sake of
Exactly.
education,
Yeah.
spending lakhs and crores is a non starter. Yes. So,
Exactly.
what is the master program that you studied in Saarland? What is the title and what is the fee structure, if at all you paid anything?
Yeah, so the master program name itself is DSAI. It's Data Science and Artificial Intelligence. So the university provides a lot of different topics, like starting from computer vision, AI, NLP, and generative AI, and so on. But the student, it's open to student on which domain does he want to move into. So it's completely the student's choice. And in my case, it was a public university, so I didn't have to pay any semester fee. But there is a negligible fee that you would have to pay. That's around €200. That comes to around 16,000 rupees in Indian rupees.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's a small negligible amount because you also get your public transport free with this. So with the semester ticket, so it's quite negligible. Yeah.
smart student. You're smart and
Yeah.
choosing these sort of public universities. See, now I'm also trying to tell this. Not everybody will be fortunate like Hitesh. Okay, German
Yeah.
admissions are competitive because Hitesh,
Yes.
you know us. We don't want to project something very rosy. Oh, people
Yeah.
watching these interviews, contact me. I'm going to place you in free education. These things, that thing. No, boss, it's
Yes.
competitive,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you don't have to worry. There are plenty of universities, offering high
Exactly.
quality education at a very affordable fees or even free education. Now, coming to the
Exactly.
question, how did you adapt for your first semester? Because we study in a different education system. Uh,
Yes.
okay, we write computer programming on a paper and they correct it. That doesn't
Yeah.
work at Saarland for sure. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so what all changes had Hitesh had to make for you to adapt to be successful at a German top public university?
Yeah. So first of all, before I answer this question, I want to let you know that UDS or Saarland University is currently ranked 2 for computer science
Wow,
and ranked 3 for data science in AI. So
super.
they quite have a different curriculum than what we have in India. And the main point or the main key difference between Indian education and here is basically it's all in application level. So it's not so simple where you just have questions and answers to give in your exam, but it's completely application based. So you will definitely 100% learn something from here, from this course. So if you choose a course, only if you're interested completely and only if you work hard on this subject is when you can clear the exam. So that brings a
Exactly.
lot of education into you and a lot of learning from that. Yeah, and coming to your question, so I had to take a lot of steps to adapt myself to the German education system. So first of all, German education system make it very clear for you what you need to do before you take a particular course. So they, for example, let you know what are the prerequisites you need to learn and what is the materials that you can learn from so that you can catch up in the course later on. So I completely relied on my university's rules and the way how they wanted students to learn and so on. And also, when I first came here, in my university, there was something called a buddy program. And I think all the universities have this, most of the universities have this. So, yeah, if you have a buddy, the program motive is very simple that you have a senior or a person who is already studying in the university. He helps you get along the city or get along the whole master's lifestyle and so on. So, I could get a lot of help from these buddies. And yeah, of course, you will also start making some friends, and those will also let you adapt to the education system and so on.
Because this is more important and very beautifully, which you said.
Yeah.
Whichever course it is, especially when you're coming to Europe, come only if you are interested and focused. No loitering here and there. Nothing will work. Or same, I am completely with what Hitesh has said. And plus my experience of studying in Europe also. If at all you're not focused, that could be an easy subject or a challenging subject like what my friend studied in Saarland. No, you have to be focused enough. And then talk to us about Saarland University's infrastructure and their industrial connection, which makes them the number 2 in this particular domain.
The reason UDS is top is we have 3 research institutes inside our campus. We have MPI, which is one of the top research institutes in Germany. It's Max Planck Institute. And then we have DFKI. That's where I was working during my master's, and I work also now. And there's also CISPA, who's more famous for cybersecurity. And there is also Fraunhofer. So all these institutes are very limited in Germany, actually, but they're all within our campus. That's what makes our university number 2 right now. And if you also look at the website, or there's also generative AI right now. You can ask ChatGPT how these institutes actually impact a university's effectiveness. And I think that's how UDS is doing. That's how it's better.
Amazing. Such a crystal clear answer. Wonderful.
Yes.
And also, in the role of enlightening an youngster, the professor plays a very key role. You may have a 1,000-acre campus. You may have plenty of infrastructure, laboratories, and all those things. Without qualified professors, without dedicated professors, it's never going to work out. So kindly talk to us how helpful these professors are, how knowledgeable they are, and especially their industrial connection.
Yeah. So on a frank note, it's not exactly that a professor will come to a student and teach you what needs to happen. So let me, in short, explain how teaching happens in Germany. So usually there is a particular group. So let's say there is a group working on AI, and they decided that they want to take a course. So this group offers a particular course for Saarland University, and this group is working on the today's state of the art, the upcoming research, and they're digging deep into it, and they're always up to date. So their courses are always up to date. And it's not always that the professor is communicating with you. Frankly, there are only lectures the whole semester, and the professor is always teaching you in the lecture. But then what makes this learning curriculum much better is they have a lot of TAs, like teaching assistants. So what they basically do is they have a weekly office hour, something called an office hour, where students can go there and ask any questions about any topics or something that they want to learn about, or on the assignments that they had and so on. So there's a lot of communication between you and another TA. And the TA that I mentioned would basically be hired by the group if he has performed well in his previous semesters. So that makes him much better in the topic. And that again helps the student who's going and learn something from him. Yeah, so that this way it's a win and win for both of the group who's offering the course as well as the student. Yeah, so this makes it more successful, and you learn a lot. So when you are only interested in learning something, all of this helps. And when you're not interested, you would not want to communicate or learn more about it, and that
nothing
makes
helps.
It worse. Yeah, nothing helps. Exactly.
So don't you think an ideal university should be like this? Students working with industries, excellent professors, good infrastructure, and the fees is free. Don't you think so? All child should get this. Not only Indian students, I mean, across the globe, everybody.
Yes, of course. So if that happens, then we would be like I mean, all of us would be educated, and we wouldn't have any crisis or something going on in the world.
Exactly.
Everyone would be educated, and
Exactly.
it would be a dream to everyone. But Europe
Not in
offers it.
reality. Don't
Yeah,
mistake me,
exactly.
Hitesh. Your parents, even though German education is free, you still
Yeah.
need to spend, at least 50,000 plus on your living expenses.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes,
only
exactly.
those kids who are like fortunate enough where their
Yeah,
parents
yeah.
can spend,
That's
then only this
yes.
happens.
Yeah,
If
that's
not,
there.
this
That's
doesn't
true.
happen.
Exactly. That's
Yes.
true.
So I know that after studying in India, all these patterns and all those things have been challenging. So right after your first semester, you got slowly adapted and evolved into the system. How was it?
Yeah, so coming from my second semester, so on my first semester, to be frank to all the students who are also looking at this video, I just want to let you know, I just cleared one subject in my first semester, and that's quite common around Europe. Everyone does this, and it's quite normal because you have to adapt to the education system and so on. So it would take quite some time. But as time goes on, so during my second semester, I was quite confident about how to prepare for the courses, what courses do I need to pick, and what is my interest and so on. So in second semester was my main turning point where I understood how everything works on, and I also started applying for RA jobs. So those are jobs within the institutes. So you could work as a research assistant within any professor's group. So I started understanding how these groups work, where I can apply, what's my interest, and what are they looking for, and what do I need to prepare. And yeah, I could figure out all of these in my second or third semester. And then from my third semester, I was hired by DFKI, like I mentioned. Yeah,
Wow.
so this was my journey.
So you started working right after your second semester, meaning from the
Yeah,
second year.
from the third semester, exactly.
Okay, super.
Yeah,
So
and
how did you manage, man? Your studies, which
yeah,
is already super intensive, plus working.
yes.
So how did you manage actually?
Yeah, so it's actually, I would say, almost all of the students have to do it, kind of, but they basically choose what they want to do. So ideally, if you're doing a master's degree at Germany, then you would have to submit something called a master thesis, and which
Yes.
is quite complicated because you need to research and implement and do everything from scratch. So you would definitely need more than a year just to do your master thesis. And during this phase, you would definitely need a group that you have to work with, some computer science group or some domain that's working. So when you want to do that, it's always better that you write to a professor, start working with them so that they offer you a master thesis. So if the professor finds you interesting, if he thinks that you are capable of doing a thesis topic under him, he would offer you a thesis topic. And that's why all of the students try to get hired by somebody. But there's also another approach where you don't get hired, but you do your master thesis with some company outside and you can submit. Yeah, that's a different approach. But yeah, I chose the one I mentioned.
Excellent, excellent. So, what was your master thesis topic?
Yeah, so I built a fit site. So you could also, if you want, just Google my name. You could find my research papers and my thesis available online. So I
Super.
basically built fit site. It's a application where we basically provide real-time feedback to users performing any gym exercises. So let's say you're performing a gym exercise.
Okay.
Using a computer vision approach like YOLO V7, we basically tell you we have a performance bar from 0 to 100. So we basically tell them how right is your posture at this point of time, and if you do something wrong for a bicep curl, if you haven't pulled your arms properly, then we would give a feedback telling pull your arms closer to the body. So that was, we basically developed an application that
Wow.
classifies 16 different exercises. Yeah, this was my
Super.
thesis.
So these
Yeah.
alerts will come in real time when they are doing
Yeah,
it.
it's in real time. Yeah. So there's a camera employed in front of the user
Of course,
and
yeah.
he would get a real time. Yeah, he gets real time feedback.
So interesting,
Yeah.
man. So interesting.
Yes.
Excellent. This will prevent a hell a lot of injuries and accidents.
Yes, exactly. So the motivation basically was because we had another university, Cologne University of Sports Science, and they have a Olympic training center, and they were a client for our research institute, and they wanted like a POC to do this for their Olympic training center. And yeah, my thesis was part of the concept.
Super. Before we talk about your professional life, what were
Mhm.
all the subjects of more interest for you? Meaning the topics that you studied during your master program.
Yeah, there were like a couple of courses that I actually liked and a couple of courses that I also struggled with. But I like a few courses. Like there was something called high level computer vision. I liked it a lot. So it's also basically my thesis topic. We're using computer vision there. And I also liked another course called neural networks. That was also good. And I was also focused a bit on towards the UI UX side. So I also like the HCI, human computer interaction. Yeah, these
Yes.
were my most interesting courses. I can't remember because it's been quite some time, but yeah, these were my, I think, one of my top liked courses.
Super. I also want you to slightly touch upon the concept of, I always tell my students, which we would have told you also, but you are a
Mhm.
self-motivated guy. We don't have to tell you much. But in
Yeah.
general, when a student comes to our office, we kindly request him, be focused towards the task. You
Mhm.
cannot, for instance, not attending classes or doing part-time job and studying such intensive courses. For many
Yeah.
people, it's a non-starter. So kindly enlighten the audience as a successful young student, who studied and currently working. Tell the audience
Mhm.
why it's important to be focused.
Yeah, so it's quite important to stay focused, at least for me. So basically, if you don't stay focused, especially when you move to Europe, maybe for your education or something, if you're not focused, time just flies. So you don't know
Yeah,
what's happening. You're doing something, you're just dreaming about something, and then your semester is gone. And it's quite complicated if you always leave away semesters. Every semester is important because as usually so I also want to tell other students here that it would definitely, you couldn't finish your master's degree in 2 years, for example. It would definitely take more than that. But it's quite common because you're learning a lot from Europe. So yeah, if you stay focused, you could finish it faster, start your professional life sooner. And when you're not focused, it would, yeah, take longer and
exactly.
longer.
Because Hitesh, this, you would have visited other agents and consultants. They tell
Yes.
these young minds, you can work part-time and make money. It's sick mindset.
Yeah,
Telling a
it's,
young child, look at your maturity when you visited our office and look at
yeah,
your maturity right now after 3, 4
yes,
years. It's a world of difference. If I
exactly.
had told Hitesh, for example, okay,
Yeah,
it's an imaginary situation. Hitesh, you can do this and we can keep working in Germany and make a lot of money.
it's no.
It's a sin. You are
Yeah,
misguiding an youngster is a sin. But
exactly.
unfortunately, brother, everybody does these things. And people, going abroad for studies, they start to think, oh, if I am in abroad, I have to do part-time job. So that is how
Yeah,
everybody is doing. It doesn't mean you
no,
also have to do it. Thank you. Thank you
exactly.
for
Yeah.
telling
I
that.
have a point. I also have a point to add on. So that's the reason Germany is much better because, or Europe, because they have a concept of something called a blocked account. So the concept basically is that you have enough money to survive for the whole year, so that you don't go work as part time, and
Exactly.
you can already understand that they have decided that you don't have the time to go work part time, so you have a blocked
Yes.
account.
Yes.
So always focus on your master degree only, and then you get the money later on. Like if you run behind money during a master degree, then it's quite hard later on. Yeah.
Yeah. And before we get into your professional life, one point I wanted to say, as you touched upon the topic of Trump and
Yes.
huge visa
The
refusals
tariff.
in Australia
Yeah,
and New Zealand, and India and Canada
exactly.
relationship is not even in the rock bottom; it is even below that. And UK
Exactly.
is like oversaturated; people are not going. And everywhere I
Exactly.
started seeing Hitesh, people
Yeah.
promoting Germany. Wow, I said like
Yeah.
excellent.
Yes.
Everybody's promoting. Then when I called and inquired,
Yeah.
okay, they are promoting all these private universities and
Yes.
low ranked business schools in Germany. I was like, then I started to assume these guys are
Yeah.
never going to change.
Yes. Exactly.
Very
So
sad,
there
man.
are
Very sad.
exactly. So there are also universities similar to what you get in UK and all of these. So there are also private universities in Germany which are okay. It's a student's choice, which are but it is definitely not greater than public universities. It's
Never, never.
there's a huge difference.
See,
Yeah.
what
So
would you
it's
do? What would
always
you say, brother? A public university, you're not able to get into Germany. You get into a
yeah.
top public university in France. Why go to a
Exactly.
private university in Germany? That is my logic.
Exactly. So you could try because there are so many countries in Europe. So you could also try Italy, France, Germany. There is also Netherlands, and yeah, there are much better countries and much better
And
universities you could join than going to a private university because you would end up paying
exactly,
more, and
exactly.
yeah, it's hard to clear back whatever you have paid. So it's
The
better not
simple
to go to
mantra,
private university.
the simple mantra for the young minds watching these interviews, whichever
Yeah.
developed countries that you are going to study in that
Yes.
country's number one, number two, number three ranked top public universities. At least for that
Exactly.
particular subject, you are in safe hands. If you are not able to
Exactly.
get into it, no problem. Pull up your socks, go to the next country. Don't
Yeah.
dig deeper on the university's ranking.
Exactly.
That is what I wanted to say.
Exactly.
Super.
Yeah. So you
So
could
then,
just choose Europe.
yes,
You have a
yes,
lot
yes.
of options then.
Lot
Yeah.
of options. So I promote,
Yes.
bro. I promote 22 countries, brother.
Exactly.
And
That's
7
nice.
countries I avoid for several reasons. But 22
Okay.
countries, for me, just the same. You know,
Exactly.
there is no difference. And by the way, tell the audience that what is the medium of instruction that you studied?
So there are two modes of language that you can get, German or English. But because my German was not that great when I came here earlier, so I chose to keep it as English because it would become even harder to cope up if you have to learn a new language and a new curriculum. Yeah. So
So
then I
you
chose
studied,
English as
yeah, you studied 100% in English, right? You don't have to
yes,
learn
it's
German
100%
language.
English. No,
Because,
no, I didn't have
yeah,
to.
because, I am under a very clear ideology. Even if the student says,
Yeah.
I am so fluent in German language, I can write lyrics in poems in German language. Then I say, what is your mother tongue? Okay, Tamil, Hindi, Kannada, whatever. Then that guy
Yeah.
wanted to study material science. Okay, tell me,
Yeah.
what is material science in your mother tongue? He could not answer.
It's it could not exactly.
So you get a
Yeah.
question paper, you read the
Yeah.
question, you don't know the answer. You can write it next semester. But when you are
Exactly.
not able to read the question itself,
What's the point?
you are never
Exactly.
going to
What?
complete it. So
Yeah.
what I'm telling with Hitesh's approval,
Yeah.
whichever topics that you're going to study, keep life simple, study medium of
Exactly.
instruction only English.
Yeah. So it's quite hard. So like I think to add up to another question that you actually asked. So how did you adapt it your first semester? I already mentioned that it was quite hectic, and just imagine you have another language barrier.
Done.
It's
Done.
gone. It's quite hard. So it's better keep it simple and make it English. So whatever you've learned from your childhood, make it that your best. I know you're good at German. Maybe use it in your professional life, but not in your degree. You're
Exactly.
learning.
Because,
So
yeah,
yeah.
because they are all the students again, they are misguided by other agents and consultants. When they
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
about German programs, they want to study in Germany. They tell the parents, do you know German language? Sorry, sir,
Yeah.
I don't know. Then you cannot study in Germany. Why don't you go to UK? And they fall into UK or Ireland. This is
Yes,
where the problem
exactly.
starts. That's why I asked this question. So,
Exactly.
when did you start your job search and when did you get your employment?
So right now, frankly, I'm not working as a full-time employee already. So I'm working. So I joined as a RA at DFKI, like I mentioned. I did my thesis there, and I've been working there with the same prof because he wanted me to, and I've also
Super.
been getting a lot of publications and everything from him. So yeah, I haven't still started my full time, but right now I'm looking for another full-time opportunity. Yeah, but it takes time. Frankly, it's not quite easy, but yeah, at the end, something's gonna happen. So
Okay.
once
So
I
currently,
get a full time.
currently you're doing as a RA, research assistant.
Yes, as a research assistant at DFKI. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's not like the part-time jobs somebody else talks. So because I'm telling about, no, I also want to tell the other students because I mentioned part-time, it doesn't mean that you have to go to a restaurant or something. So there's like a research
Mm.
institute. Yeah. So there are multiple opportunities also that when you have to work. Yeah. So
Yeah,
this is what I
research,
do.
of course, when you said research RA, research assistant,
Yeah.
people would know like,
Yes.
it's like you are, of course, the name itself implies, you are assisting
Yes.
a
A
researcher
research
in
group.
several of his topics and
Exactly.
supporting him in his publications, collecting data, executing
Exactly.
his tasks and all those things. Wonderful.
Exactly.
I think
Yeah.
I think this sort of RA also right after masters prepares you for bigger battles.
Exactly. So it adds up. So basically, for me, I came here without any experience after my bachelor's. Like I mentioned, that I got an offer, but I didn't want to work there. So immediately after my bachelor's, I came here. So I literally have no experience. So this RA positions actually helped me a lot because they help me add things on my resume and build my resume. So it's much better to enter an industry. So that's another reason that I also wanted to continue here as long as I can.
Excellent, excellent. So
Yeah.
how long does this, what is the duration? In a week's time, how much time you have to spend for this RA position?
So it's according to the contract, it's usually 20 hour per week, but it's ideally not exactly 20 hour. You would have to work a bit more than that, but it's quite enough. I think you could manage working with this and also doing your master courses. Because also another point, you also work on your thesis. So working on this group actually ideally also fastens your thesis and fastens your learning towards that domain. So you can't directly ask how many hours do you work because you'll be working for everything. That's what your resume is all about. So yeah, but it's quite manageable.
Wonderful. So you're also about to finish your master thesis.
I already finished my master thesis. I finished my master thesis last year, actually, and also my courses last year. But I decided to work here a bit more longer because I was a student. I still had my student status, so I was working as an RA. I didn't want to lose it. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And so, with the young minds watching this, since you are into this data science and artificial intelligence, what is
Mm-hmm.
that you will tell an student who has just finished his school, if he's so
Mm-hmm.
enthusiastic about all these topics? What do you would tell
Yeah.
him? How he should prepare himself to be a part of this revolution?
Yeah, so when it comes to data science and AI, I think all of them just know this word, generative AI and ChatGPT and all of these. And I just want to tell one statement, like you can build ChatGPTs with ChatGPTs, so you can build more with those. So with the AI tools coming up so advanced and all of these, so you have a proper learning platform to learn more, to get to know things, and it's easier now. It's just on your fingertips. So I would always ask people to, yeah, like explore, search. It's good or not, search and figure out if it's good or not. That's what you do at the end. Yeah. So this is what I want to tell. Yeah.
Okay. So, people, scare other youngsters. AI is going to take your job. AI is
No.
going to kill everything. It's like, what rubbish.
Yeah. This
Just because,
this is a
no, it's like, just because calculators are invented, we no longer need accountants or auditors. It's like that.
exactly, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's a
funny.
perfect example. It's a perfect
Yeah,
example. Humans know math, but calculators didn't replace them. Calculators just help them to do it.
exactly.
In a similar fashion, it's with AI. AI won't replace people, but AI will help people streamline their process. But it's a
Exactly.
myth that it will replace. It's not possible that machines can take all of us over. Yeah. So it's a
Wonderful.
misconception.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the example that I use, because people should understand.
Yeah.
And
True.
some
Exactly.
some universities, some colleges, some so-called self-proclaimed education experts, they equate artificial intelligence, data science to food and water, without which you will
Yes.
not survive. What is that you are studying? World is going somewhere. I saw, and I don't want to call his name. He's talking about something like synthetic biology or something. I was like, what is he even talking about? Okay, this is a good course. You also read it from ChatGPT. Tell me where I
Yeah.
can learn all these things. Who is teaching all these things? No answer. Just confusing
Nobody knows.
parents and leaving them in the dark.
Exactly. Yeah, that's quite
Wonderful.
dangerous.
Excellent. And the final year project that you said about
Hmm.
the gym related, preventing those
Yeah,
injuries, like
injuries.
really, really, really amazing, man. I
Thank you. Thank
always
you.
feel if your technology cannot solve day-to-day problems, what is the use of having technology?
Technology, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a good point.
I met a
Yeah.
professor who said people are
Hmm.
spending, millions and trillions in space exploration, in
Yeah,
Mars exploration, but we have so much to solve on our own planet. I'm not telling we should
exactly.
not, do that,
Go
but
out or do that. Yeah. There
we
are
are
still quite some problems which we need to address first before we go to those. Yeah.
wonderful. Excellent.
Yes.
So, before, we sum up this beautiful interview, would you like to
Yeah.
tell any last few points for our audience?
Yeah. So you mean in terms of you want me to tell in terms of the
In
whole
general,
Germany perspective?
summing up this interview from a
Yeah.
data science and AI research assistant, what do you like to say to our audience?
Yeah. So I would say it's frankly not easy to enter Europe and to get an admission in Europe. But once you get it, it's quite hard. But once you get it, your life is going to drastically change. So in summary, I would just want to say I could just ask my parents, what was I when I went to Europe study, when I wanted admission, and the day that I am right now. There's a lot of difference, a lot
Yes.
of gap in maturity, a lot of gap in learning, a lot of gap in career growth. So you will definitely get it, but you have to work hard and focus on a single thing. Don't just run on different things. Okay, this is the country that I want to look for. That is the country that I want to look for. Look for what you want to do in your course or what you want to do ahead in life. That's what German universities also want you to always keep in mind. So they already want you to know what you want to do in the future so that you pursue your career in the same path. So yeah, it's good if you're clear about what you want to do in the future, and yeah, focus on it
Super.
and you can do it. Yeah,
Super. And as you rightly said, you have only one life, boss. You don't have three, four lives. And I feel
exactly.
if an youngster has the opportunity and their parents are ready to support, but he is
Yeah,
hesitant to pack his bags and explore the world, I cannot
It's quite hard.
understand, or I cannot. For me, this is very hard to believe.
Yeah, true. That's true.
And I have met plenty of students, brother, at their age of 31, 32. Sir, I met you 7 years before, 8 years before. My
Okay.
friends confused me. That time also they keep blaming others. He
Yeah,
confused me.
exactly.
He confused me. My girlfriend did not allow. All these stories. Oh my God, Anyway,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's about doing the right things at the right time. Wish
Yeah.
you all the very best. And
Thank
I
you.
clarified a lot of my doubts with you, especially
Okay, sure.
not to choose AIDS courses at UG level. This can be
Yeah,
chosen at the
sure.
PG level.
Exactly.
You are a real-time example, and best wishes for your
Thank you.
future opportunities. So do stay in touch. And on behalf of the students and parents, I thank
Yeah,
you for giving you your time and enlightening this audience. As you know, this interview is not, oh, Europe Study Center, this, that. Put that aside.
exactly.
It's all
It's
about
about the
this journey, your struggles, how did you overcome, and your achievements, and also your role as a research assistant currently. Thank you so
yeah,
much. Best wishes to you and also your family members, and
yeah.
all the best to you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.